Hello, this is the third episode of iBookBinding's podcast. Today our guest is Eliane Gomes, Brazilian-Dutch bookbinder and book restorer from Haarlem, North Holland. And we will talk about Eliane's projects, Eliane's path to bookbinding, and we will answer some questions today. But first, I'd like to make some announcements. First things first, many thanks to our patrons on Patreon. These days you can join the crowd on Patreon, but we are not charging any monthly fees because we decided to share our collection for free with everybody. So you can go there and check out dozens of books about bookbinding and other book-related arts and crafts. I also need to make a sort of correction to the previous video with Todd Davis when we chose the winner of the giveaway. Todd told that he wants to give the tool to a person who just starts their path to bookbinding. But then I checked the discussion, the talks with both persons who sent questions, and it appears that both of these people were only beginners. So I decided to correct this and offer both of them a sewing frame. This episode's giveaway is corner clamps, magnetic corner clamps. We wanted to discuss them with Eliane anyway. The person who asks the best question this time will get a set of magnetic clamps. Yeah, I guess that's it. So Eliane, hi.
Hello. Good morning.
Thanks a lot for being here. Good morning. Tell us first, what was your path to bookbinding? How did you decide to become a bookbinder, a book restorer? Because
it is. My background is totally different. I come from business administration, hotel management, psychology, project management.
Yeah.
So bookbinding, but I always liked to work with my hands, especially as a hobby. In 2007, I noticed that there was a course given not far away from my home in Haarlem, teaching people how to do books. And for me, it was a great way to get out of the computer, because I was always behind the computer. It gets very tiring. I was missing creating something with my hands, so I decided to start the course.
Yeah.
But it's addictive. You have the bug. If the bug gets you, it's very addictive.
Yeah.
And I started getting more curious about different techniques, different things to do with, what you can do with. And at a certain point, I took over the living room of our house, and my husband was saying that is not okay. Had a press and everything, but I didn't have much equipment, which was a little bit knick-knack, thing. But then it's like, okay, get better equipment, but it needs space, and she didn't. At a certain point in my previous career, it started giving me more headaches, than the pleasure.
Yeah.
And I ended up with a very big burnout.
Yeah.
That burnout, I decided that it was time for me to completely change my path. So I took it on a professional bookbinder's course. At that time it was in the graphic atelier in Utrecht, in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
It was in Dutch, so it was no English. So at that time, luckily, I was already mastering the language. Okay, not mastering, but I can handle quite well.
Yeah. I cannot go for a Dutch course right now. even while I studied Dutch language, that's definitely not enough to study in Dutch.
We just, I just was thinking, okay, let's go. I find it, it was challenging, but I had a great teacher that understood, the language barrier, that although I was not fluent, I could understand well, and I had the patience because I was going through a burnout and changed my career during that period. So I got really good, really good teachers. They offered at that time kind of a specialization course that this still happens nowadays, that it would go to restoration work.
Mm-hmm.
I love, I have been my previous career, I was a troubleshooter, and I love, and it's another bug.
Yeah.
So I decided that to use the skills I had, from business and from business life and adapt, to what I think as my new career.
Yeah.
One of the paths that I would get to conservation, that is a difference between repair, restoration, and conservation. They're the levels where you're gonna act. Going to conservation path would take me to go back to university, so that was, for me, it was like I don't want to go that path. You dedicate much time, and I would not have any time left to earn my bread.
Yeah.
So that one, it was not a thing. Staying with just repairs, that's what a bookbinder would do it, and I didn't find that feasible. So I decided to take the middle path.
Yeah.
But this middle path, as a restorer, that means that you're going to use the knowledge of a bookbinder, and you get parts of the knowledge of the conservator, and you would apply. So, and you have very strict guidelines.
Yeah, many same principles apply as with the conservation.
Yeah, and so when you become a restorer, you have to commit to the standards of the conservators. So that's the European Code of Ethics, for conservation and restoration.
Yeah.
Restorers are not a recognized profession. Not even conservators are considered like a recognized profession, because it's a very young profession. This whole path started in 1966 with the flood of Florence in Italy.
Yeah.
From there, where people came all over the world to try to save, the book heritage and paintings and everything that was under the flood. They started, this profession to develop. So that's a very young profession, so there is much to go on that thing. To people nowadays that I say, you can't stop studying. Believe me, the things that I've learned,
Yeah.
it's just one course after the other. Things that I started, that I saw it 5 years ago,
Yeah.
They already have a different point of view nowadays.
Yeah.
It is going extremely fast.
Yeah. Chemicals change, approaches change, everything changes all the time.
But there is a huge issue nowadays with the leather dyes, that they have too much metal, they are not environmentally friendly. So people look into all sorts of other solutions to all those kind of issues.
Yeah.
Glues, equipment, they look from across all sorts of industry, from medical, dental, shoemakers, you name it.
Yeah.
So all sorts of techniques are coming up, and they are getting more refined. So if you learn it, how to do some restoration, you're not set there. You have to keep on studying. You have to keep on going to workshops. You have to keep on doing master classes. And I always suggest, please have some, kind of a buddy, just someone that is at a higher level than you, to be your kind of a guide.
Yeah.
We do not know everything. Sometimes I ask someone with more experience.
Yeah.
And if I have a job that I think that's too much for me, that's beyond my skill,
yeah,
I have no problem in sending to someone else.
Yeah, that's true. It's very important to not be in a vacuum.
No, and to know your limits is very, very important. I know that certain things I can do it very well, and some other things I would rather have a colleague with more experience to do it. And I do not hide that from my client. I tell my client that I can do this, I cannot do that. That one I have to forward to someone else. I think that's a responsibility. It is very important to have in this area.
Yeah.
Because it's not only a rare book. Sometimes there is a sentimental value in the book.
Yeah, yeah. That's partly what we touched with Todd last week, because he told that he always, as he considers himself book repairman, he always asks clients if they. Firstly, he doesn't want to work with books that have high monetary value. But then he always asks them if the emotional value related to this book, to this object, is also pretty high. And if that's the case, he prefers not to work on this project because it's too much of responsibility, and he prefers to put it away and to give it to some other colleagues who are more comfortable with such pressure or something?
Yeah, it comes to me. I love these projects. It comes with a huge responsibility. Because one of the things that has to be really emphasized, preparing a book is not a restoration work. Rebinding a book is no restoration work.
Yeah.
A restoration is trying to get part of the function of the book back because of a damage, because of an issue that the book's having.
Yeah.
You're not making it look pretty. It's just like sometimes I say I had one of my exam pieces. It was a book that was a small linen cover. I'll show you a little picture.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is the book restored. You see, I'm not making it look pretty.
Yeah.
This is the restored part of the linen.
Yeah.
I'm blending in, but the book nowadays, it was out it's everything in one piece. So I can use the book again, it's safe, but I'm not making it pretty. So I'm not trying to copy how it was before. Okay, some people, they like that, but that's not the idea behind restoration.
Yeah.
Other thing, restoration, you try to use basically all reversible methods. That means reversible glues. No serious restorer would ever use PVA in a book to restore a book. Don't use it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is an infinity of other glues, but don't use PVA. And you don't change the style, of the book, unless it is like the cover is completely gone and for some reason that a new cover is needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
and
it's complex.
even in that situation, if you have an idea what the previous cover was like, you will probably try to recreate it, or at least stylize the new cover to be alike.
Try to get something that will get a kind of it would not look shiny new, because otherwise it almost look plastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you try to bring it to that level, to that matching. I see some book restorers that they can do wonders, with color that you almost don't see where was the mistake, where was the damage.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. There's a French bookbinder restorer that I always say, every time that I see one of his posts, like Eliane, I say, oh, it's magic. It's magic. It's magic. So beautiful.
Yeah.
But that is this responsibility. But that's not the idea. It's for restoring. So nowadays I combine all my skills.
Perfect. So you found your way into this new profession.
But it's hard. Takes years and years for you to get to know.
So for how long have you been already working as a book restorer?
I'm now 6 years, with my own practice.
Yeah.
Now I have more like my fixed clients, returning clients. Most of them, they are like from the private collectors.
Mostly European, or mostly Dutch, or how it works? If you can.
Mostly Dutch here from the cities around Haarlem.
Yeah.
One of my clients is also like the Mennonite Church. They have a very big library and archive.
Yeah.
And they have other small organizations. So I work restoration with them, preparing books to be digitized as well, because there's a lot of digitization of the archives, especially when they have all the ink corrosion, in their old books.
Yeah.
So you need to kind of stabilize a little bit, so they can digitize safely.
Okay.
That part.
But
sometimes I have some bookbinding assignments or bookbind a bit related assignments.
Yeah.
90% of my work is restoration, and a little 10% is bookbinding.
Yeah, to spice it up a bit.
Yeah. So it comes in the form of making protective boxes.
Yeah.
That's why I like those clamps very much, because it makes my life much faster.
Yeah.
Because I don't do the production thing, so it's nice that I can mount something and put the side to let settle with the corners. And I have the ones with the little screw, and I have the magnetic ones that are very strong.
Yeah.
I love it because they're so strong, and I can use those magnets for other things.
Yeah. Exactly.
When I have checks, then I have parchment, and I have sometimes to clean it, but I have to put them very straight, or sometimes they are deformed and I have to reform them. I need pressure on
Yeah.
those magnets. They're really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're very strong, so I can use them as well. Like they are multitasking. They are not really just for one reason.
Yeah. So
So
it's
that's I
yeah.
using tools. And so you find solution for tools all the time. How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that?
Yeah.
Not one project is the same.
It's the same. Yeah. So yeah, it really seems that everything should be quite different, and every new project should be different from everything else. Unlike many bookbinding projects, when you have, I don't know, when you have an edition to work with 20 or 100 books that are all the same and all the same covers, all the same boxes, or for example, you need to stylize some old books and make for all of them the same boxes. And it's pretty much different with the restoration because it's a piece by piece work, and but still there should be some routine, because I guess there is no work without routine.
No, there is. One of the first routines is preparing the glue.
Okay.
Yeah. For example, wheat paste. We work a lot with wheat paste, and I particularly like working a lot with MC, methyl cellulose. Find much faster. You have to have your mise en place. You have to things every day. Wheat paste is something that goes wrong in a very short time.
Oh yeah.
So you starting seeing that when you start getting that watery thing like
Yeah.
that, it's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is one of the routines. The other thing that's important is when you have a certain batch of different projects, is to look at as to have a small, assessment reports. So to have an idea about what has to be done. Then you look as what you have, and if you think, okay, today I'm gonna work, for example, on washing papers and drying the papers, or I'm gonna do this part, or if I have too much, like if I have to pair leather, to do some leather restoration, that day I'm gonna dedicating in preparing all leather or coloring all leather, sometimes coloring paper as well. So you start the week, you have to have an idea about all the different tasks, that all the mise en place, all the basics you're gonna get ready, and then you're gonna progress.
Yeah.
My suggestion is always have a plan. Don't go headless chicken taking this one, that. No, it end up really bad.
Yeah.
And have enough breaks during the day, because restoration, it takes a lot of concentration. 1 second that you don't look at something properly, you do boo-boo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is important just sometimes to let it rest, don't speed up the things, go for a walk, get a coffee, a cup of tea, look around and then come back.
I feel it even more during the lockdown, during the quarantine, because I tend to work much more these days, because I lost all my standard routines, and so I can wake up in the morning, have my breakfast, and then I work until until midnight. And of course, when you do this, do it this way, you tire more, and you lose concentration. Yeah. It's a lot of more space for error. Of course, my errors are not as bad as errors that a book restorer or conservator can make, because
if you work careful, the mistake will not be. You do mistakes.
Yeah.
Believe me, I do mistakes sometimes, but you have to be aware to make mistakes that you can fix.
Yeah.
But fixing a mistake costs you money.
Yeah, and time. Yeah.
Time is money, so breaks are important, so you don't have to redo boo-boos.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's a lot of people, they're a bit uncomfortable to talk about the financials behind working in this area. A lot of people, they do not learn. I have colleagues that sometimes we have talks about, how do I charge? How do I present a quote? How do I make an inventory about what I have to do with? What are the options? I got one advice from one of my teachers, Hans Peterson, and he said, keep a spreadsheet. Keep track of how much time do you need to do this, and that. Of course, your speed will increase with your experience.
Yeah.
But if you note that, let's say you go have a project, I just kicking a number, you're charging 50 euros for the project, you're going to be doing this and that.
Yeah.
You started doing the project, if you don't have an idea how much, you end up giving a project back to the client that costs 150.
Yeah.
But you're being paid just a 50. It's not fair.
Yeah.
To yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, first of all, that's the balance that you have to find as well, because you're a restorer and a business person.
That's a really valid point, and that was one of the reasons I stopped really doing bookbinding and book repairs for money, because I never was good on estimating how much money should I get from this or that per person for the project they want me to do. And it led to frustration, because I felt that I spend more time and more of my work on projects that I'm underpaid for. And I liked the projects, but I didn't like that I got not enough money. And then there are other things like this usual imposter syndrome, when you feel that you shouldn't charge more than some fair price or something, even if you feel that your services are worth more than you are charging. So this is whole mess of problems that I felt, and issues that I worked through and never really worked through, and decided just to stop that process. But in the end, I have all the same routine for my tools, because I know how much time I spend, for example, when I'm making paper molds with watermarks or something. I know how much time I will spend on adding a watermark to a paper mold, and I charge on hourly basis. I know how much money will take to make some changes in some design, so I charge hourly for that as well. And here it feels somehow much more comfortable than with books for me. So yeah, I'm glad that I found this.
It's the same thing. It's the same concept.
It's the same, but somehow it didn't work for me with books. I don't know why. Maybe I was younger and not enough experienced, and now I have more experience.
I don't think that has to do with age. I know people that are around my age, that still have the same issue. It's about being taught. Like, as I said, I come from a business background, especially very much focus on project management. So I take that one nowadays.
Yeah.
In the beginning, like when I was doing this, despite the fact that I know that you had to take overhead in consideration, administration costs, your costs in general, you have to get a lot of things to get your price, to reach your hourly price. Then you have to understand how the production of what your services, how fast they are, how much you take to do the things, and in illustration, there are all different little kind of things that are interconnected. It takes time.
Yeah.
This year I am a little bit better with all my quotes.
Yeah.
Now 6 years.
Yeah.
Doing just like a restoration, doing my quotes. In the beginning, I was noticing that I was underpaid because I didn't have enough data to make my calculations.
That's
it's
true.
A collection of data.
Yeah.
And sincerely, if someone here comes with a big project to me and wants to pay this, I say no.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't like people doing bargaining with my price as well. If they want to do bargaining price, believe me.
Yeah.
People in the bazaar in Istanbul, they got a really bad time with me because I'm very good in bargaining.
Yeah. I guess the other thing that changed for me was that when I moved to making tools, even while we were still living in Moscow, and I was still doing some bookbinding projects, when I moved to doing tools, I started with a spreadsheet. And I started recording how much time, materials, and other stuff I used, for example, for make a sewing frame or a press.
Yeah.
And that was a completely different approach because I was doing bookbinding for 10 years before I started making tools for sale. And I had my routines with my bookbinding projects, and they didn't include spreadsheets or something. But when I moved to making tools, I started with spreadsheets, and now I have tables for every smallest bit of equipment I produce. I have a spreadsheet with all the materials, time spent on printing or making or post-processing or additional works, shipping, additional materials, taxes, additional fees, I don't know, like rent, electricity, like everything is included there.
Yeah, the overhead. Yeah.
So I had this different approach right from the start, and maybe this is what makes me so much more comfortable with the tool making projects. But now I have so much time spending on tool making that I don't really have an opportunity to return to bookbinding.
But it's the same concept, you
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
the advice from my teacher was so good, you know, and matched my background. And believe me, you know, I have like, I've been just apply, just have, even if you're doing just as a hobby.
Yeah.
And if you just wanted to know about a little bit more details about how is your work process, you know, you just do it.
Yeah.
No, you can also make yourself a nice little book. Doesn't have to be a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Little notebook where you note all your times.
Yeah.
You know, it's really important, you know, to keep a record.
Yeah, that's true. And keeping records, it's really important in so many ways, not only just digits in the table, but also photos and notes and all that stuff. And that's what I was making since my first bookbinding project, because I think it started even earlier, because I always was into photography since film cameras and all that stuff. And my grandfather gave me my first camera when I was, I don't know, not 10, younger than 10, and I loved it. So I photographed my projects since my childhood. I think you know this guy Adam Savage he was from Mythbusters on Discovery Channel.
I think I remember.
They took all the different myths or misconceptions and broke them apart. So he now has a YouTube channel of his own project, and recently he told that since his childhood he photographed all his projects, and it's very important, because when you return to these projects you can see what mistakes you made, what ideas were in the base of these projects, and you can be inspired for more projects, for new ones. And it really helps me because I can see my first books and I can share them with other people. I see all the mistakes I made. I can speak about these mistakes, and it's fun, it's interesting, and I hope it's inspiring for some.
I think that it's just, I keep records of everything. I have notebooks that I note the ideas, mistakes, whatever. I have a zillion of those books every time that I'm working on an idea. In a restoration project, what you do as well, you make reports over the process. In these reports, normally we include before and after photographs.
Yeah.
And the photographs also help you, because sometimes you're doing something and you just want to check, wait a second, where I am here now.
Yeah.
You know, it's just where I should be going now. So it's a kind of, it's also like that visual aspect, like, okay, I'm this part of the process, you know, and the before and after. When you write a report, it's actually the reporter. It's basically write a report for another colleague. So normally the client can't read the report very well. That is very technical. But you hand it over. But keeping a photograph, track of your projects, bookbind or restoration, is a very nice way for you to get a reassurance about how you're progressing, first of all. You know, and which parts are still a little bit falling behind. You know, if you're saying, okay, I still have to work on that. Not in a way of comparing yourself with other people, because I think that everyone has their own growth path.
Yeah, but some self-control helps.
Exactly. So you kind of look, for example, I've learned tooling. I'm not that good, but I've learned.
Yeah.
If I have something that is more simple to do it, I can do it myself. But if I will have a complex tooling project, I'll send to my teacher.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I find that it is always important the network with people, network with you, other persons that can do. You can't be perfect and good in everything.
Yeah.
We don't have a lifetime for that. So we ask other people to do it.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
sometimes you don't have space. For example, in my atelier, I don't have space to put a title machine, to put the pregnant or the other ones. If I have something that needs a title, I give or to Benjamin or to take some other colleagues. I know who has a machine and who does it really well, and I'll outsource.
Yeah.
If I have a lot of boxes to make, I have no space for that.
Yeah.
I can do maybe up to 5 boxes. More than that, it goes to another colleague. I might manage the client, but the task itself is outsourced.
Yeah.
Making life much simpler because there are so many tools. Mamma mia, there are so many tools.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I'll ask you to show around your studio just a bit, if that's possible.
Yes, it is small, so bear with me because I'm going to be moving a little bit to the camera. I have a very small atelier, it's about like a 4x3.
Yeah.
So I managed to be very compact in the way. So what you see there is my main working place. I have some presses, and I'm going to go there. Going to this side, you could see in the back of the other video, I have like kind of a cupboard.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of little projects and equipment there, and I have my
additional
board.
storage space.
Yes, always you have to find my cutting board.
Yeah.
And it serves as well as a storage unit, as you can see under.
Yeah, I was impressed how you fit it in there the first time I saw it.
It's 20 years of Holland,
Yeah.
You learn how to live in small houses.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I have a little bit of like a bookshelf with books that are kind of examples, sometimes I have to explain something to a client, and some basic literature, but this is not all my books, this is just part of my books. And then I'm stepping down my little IKEA step. I fitted the place with a skylight to bring more light into onto the atelier. That's nice because you have a little bit of a natural light. This part here would be my chemicals cabinets.
Yeah.
You see that we have quite a lot of products that we use.
Almost like a large medical cabinet.
Yes, it looks like a little bit like that.
Over the sink and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, we will try not, so the sinking, and then here we go. I have every drawer that is something inside, from brushes, tools, that normally they are more for bookbinding, the part.
Yeah.
Have paint, acrylics, oil, watercolor. This is also special watercolor. Then here we go. You see, this is non-stop pencils, watercolor pencils. We use a lot for repairs, for to touch up.
Retouching, yeah.
Yeah, and then here under, it's just, I label everything. People will think because I have a minor dyslexia, so I need to label. If I don't label, I get lost. So everything, including, you know what? Aha!
Some colorful stuff, yeah.
Yes, I like it. And then when we come to the top, so you see, it's everything, every single place I am stocking up with material, but it has to have some kind of organization, otherwise I get a little bit lost.
Yeah. It's a great example of how quite a small space can be really functional and include a lot of stuff.
Yes. And here under, for example, what I find it easy, this isn't on wheels. Why?
Yeah.
Because cleaning. You need to keep the place very clean.
Yeah.
When I'm working normally, I open this drawer because then I would be sitting in this area.
Yeah.
And here behind, I create another drawer where I have some material that I need for restoration.
Yeah.
Like a butter print, holy tags, all sort of Japanese papers with the different colors and shades and also different grams to it.
Yeah.
And so it is, because it is small, I work around, it's just like trying to make it look as easy as possible for me to reach.
Yeah.
Without having to go to the other side of the place.
To stand up and to move around the studio. Yeah.
One of my newest, one of my favorite tools is this press.
Yeah.
This is a finishing press by Geert van Daal, the Dutch bookbinder. He was my teacher in tooling, but he also developed tools, and I love this. When I have to do backings, or even to do sometimes some finishing work, it is absolutely beautiful. And it opens and closes. It is not a beginner's tool. It took me about 6 years to be able to buy one of those, but I'm so happy with that. And then I would have, of course, the loop, because I will have an airbrush machine.
Yeah.
And that we will talk about a bit later. And presses, board. That's why sometimes I think. I use a board because I'm a visual person, so sometimes I make drawings about what I'm trying to do and make notes for myself not to forget.
Yeah.
I have also humidity control.
Okay.
I have a disinfecting machine, because my tools, when I finish a project, I'm going to sterilize them. I want them absolutely clean.
Yeah.
And that is my garden view.
That's the best.
Yeah, the best fella. We build up. Was building this place with my husband. And we built in the back of the house. One important thing people forget often: you need a fire extinguisher.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is something very important to have. And then also you notice that many places here I have curtains for the light.
Yeah.
It's because the UV light also damages, so like a covers and everything.
Yeah.
So you need to have that one in place.
Yeah.
And here's a project that I'm about to continue work. Now I think that you can see a bit.
Yeah.
This is a book from 1552, and you see the doodles.
Is it? Yeah, some doodles. Maybe you can see a photo later because
Yeah. Oh, isn't it like the doodles? And you see that started here with a lot of issues.
Damage.
People damaging and
Cutting away. Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
letters.
I hate this.
Yeah. So someone wanted to do, so you see, like, look at the damage, and they went with the scalpel.
Oh yeah.
There is a lot of dissimilar damage here, so it will be like I'm gonna be, replacing here with a blank, because the letter was stolen.
Yeah.
And this was used to be a parchment, so this parchment is so badly damaged, and you see the wood here is also damaged.
Yeah.
The end bands are gone.
Is it mites or just?
Sorry?
Is it mites damage or insects
it's
or?
woodworms.
Yeah.
Woodworms, mites. So it's like here there was my assessment report. It's quite comprehensive. I write a lot of things. I note a lot of. I glued. Sorry. I'll send a picture.
Okay.
So it is like my damage report. But it is here because I wanted to show you guys, but it's one of my next projects.
Okay.
The other project that I'm working on is this is the last gathering that I'm gonna be repairing. If someone saw my latest posts on Instagram, they will see that's part of this project. This is a company archive. A company that was actually bombed during the Second World War, and went to the ground, and they still had some things. So it's very funny because I'm going over, some 1941. It's kind of scrapbook from a company,
Yeah.
whatever was left over.
Yeah.
But it was in a different format, and the client wanted a book.
Yeah.
So I have to restore all this, so that means filling up all these little gaps.
Yeah.
You know, and
All the punched holes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very long, so to punch the holes, and that's why I have that beauty there. Some people might recognize from posts. Because otherwise it would be very difficult for me to punch the holes nicely, and this is how big the book is.
So it will be a single book or several volumes?
Okay, the client, I wanted to sell separate books because it would be much easier, you know, but the client wants one book.
Okay.
You know, so but this is book number 1. I have 5 to do it. You know, so here's the rest of the trouble. It's all over there.
Okay, that's impressive.
No, yeah. So this yeah, like the binding gonna be simple, sturdy, the simple binding, but the person wants everything in one big book. So 5 big books. So this is, and that is when it came the idea, I need a punching cradle so I can punch it properly.
Yeah, a long
and
one.
Funny enough, I'm getting my husband to do it a little bit bigger frame, with sewing frame, because I don't have a big sewing frame for this sort of a format. You know,
Yeah.
so we're gonna be using your ideas.
Yeah.
I already put him to watch the video.
Okay.
He's handed at me for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a bit. So here, more projects. You know, this one. This is a cash book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that is.
I like the format.
1600. Yeah, very oblong format, very odd format, and it is kind of a loose.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is, you know, I'm gonna try to reconnect these parts here so
The
it
threads?
is proper. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you see, it is a limp binding.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm gonna try to reconnect it, to reconstruct, you know, the original structure. And if it's not possible, then I get something, because this book is gonna be digitized.
It's quite a big book for limb binding.
Yeah, but I have a bigger one
Okay.
here. You know, it's as big as the project from that I have from the big book.
Okay.
Is this one here?
Yeah.
So basically, here's I have more projects to go through. You know, here's I have a book binding, a project that actually is a present for a friend that she works in administration of a hospital in the UK. Her name is Sangeeta Katuria. She's also a writer. And this would be, you know, because we studied together, this would be my present for her. I'm binding her first book as a kind of author's binding. And of course, I like some decoration as well. That is, in particular, for a very good friend of mine that died last year, Yona Cohen.
Yeah.
That was in many times my guide in many aspects of setting up, working, and when I get into trouble, questions.
That's a beautiful etching.
Yeah, it is. Someone did it for her, and I really like it, and I keep it here. You know, and it's like also keeping her along here with me.
Yeah.
Before leaving, she left me a very nice collection of papers, you know, especially decorated marble papers, and one day I will show you that whole collection. So what else can I show you here? You see, it's not that big.
Yeah, I think that's the most important part, because many people are concerned that they don't have space for bookbinding or for book-related projects. But then you can start with really small space, and first thing first, you need a table. When you have a table, you can build around it, and then you can work with only one table. It may be tough. It may be not the perfect setup, but it's already something, and you can start from there. And
I would be happier if I would have a little bit more counter space. That's
Yeah.
one thing that I find bad in my design. So I will often use my guillotine, my big board chopper,
yeah,
not only as a storage, but when I needed to work, sometimes in my extra counter space, and that's why that on the top
yeah,
I use as well as a place for me to. But I miss here counter with the counter space.
yeah,
A workspace. You know, I chose to work on this kind of this kind of material, you know, that you do like for construction,
yeah,
because I am short. So when I have to reach out up there, I need to climb.
yeah,
So you know, I needed something. So that was. But you can start with this small thing, and then you go. Be wise with use every single centimeter that you have.
yeah.
Even I have another cutter here. This is the book block cutter.
Okay.
It's manual, but because the other ones are too big, you know. So as you can see, so any other complications or if a bigger equipment, I can't have it.
Yeah, when we were planning, I guess we can now return to the horizontal mode. Yeah. So I guess that's it with our main part. And yeah, I have some more announcements to make. This video appears on YouTube, as well as our other videos appear on the YouTube channel, along with live streams and some other stuff. So subscribe to iBookBinding on YouTube. You can also subscribe to our newsletter on the website to get updates about the next videos and to ask questions in time, to send questions to our next guests. If you have any thoughts on who would be a perfect guest for us some of next times, you can also write some comments, and that's the question I want to address to Eliane as well, because I know that you wanted to name some names.
Yeah. Well, I think that it would be really nice to have if like I have a Rita Udina,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
from Spain.
Yeah, and it's already confirmed that she's our next guest next week. So yeah, we will definitely
Fantastic.
talk with her. Yeah.
Yeah, but that she's I think people are really gonna like it, you know, to have a chat with Rita. Yeah, you know, I like her very much. You know, she's fun. She tells a lot of things from her heart. She loves the profession, and she's a conservator. You know, she's a really good one.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you very much for talking with me today, and thanks a lot for your story, for your answers, and for the discussion. I had a great time. It was a blast. Once again, yeah. Once again, thanks a lot to our community, to everyone who watches this video, and to everyone who supports iBookBinding on Patreon. And see you next time.
See you next time, guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Good luck.